What's going on, folks? My name is Johny. Thank you all so much for coming out. Great to be here in Saskatoon. Rough Riders, loud and proud, of course. You know, it's always special for us to usher in a new market, but specifically so here in Canada. You have all been so gracious. To say that we have felt the warm welcome doesn't even begin to describe it. So seriously, on behalf of the entire UFC team, thank you all very much. Hopefully this will be the first of many trips to the great province of Saskatchewan. Speaking of which, great main event tomorrow night. How many of you guys are going to be in the building, by the way, tomorrow night? And dare I say, is there anyone here who does not have tickets? I don't see anyone. All right, right there. See me after the Q&A. You can have my 2 tickets for tomorrow night, okay? So this is a great main event. You know, 2 fighters in Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway, you know, just entering their primes at 23 and 25 years old, respectively. They've combined to win their last 10. You may have heard of a guy, Conor McGregor. He's injected a lot of life, I think we can say, into this featherweight division. So great main event tomorrow night. Interesting co-main event as well. You know, for me, and, you know, I don't pick favorites, obviously, as a commentator, but there is no more exciting fighter on this roster than Eric Silva. He's fought primarily in Brazil, and you get a real treat tomorrow night in the co-main event. He'll take on Neil Magny, obviously, who's stepping up for the 2nd time in a month. So a great card tomorrow night. Hopefully you guys will bang it out for us and make a lot of noise and really create a special live event. All right, with that, we have 2 special guests here today. One of them is a welterweight contender. The other one, a budding bantamweight star. Please welcome Tyron Woodley and Cody Garbrandt.
What's up, guys? How you doing? You guys got to be excited. The UFC wouldn't brought this to Saskatoon if you guys hadn't bought all those pay-per-view buys. So we appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys coming out to the Q&A. I will be periscoping you guys live so the UFC fans around the world can see you. So make sure you got some good questions and stay engaged.
Yeah, so keep it clean, Saskatoon. This is going out to the masses. So if you don't know, we have microphones set up on both sides of the stage. Don't be shy. Tyron, Cody here for you for the next half an hour or so, so don't be afraid. Nothing off limits, by the way. If you want to ask about their love lives, their fighting games, whatever you want to talk about. While we're waiting, I want to get your guys' thoughts on this main event here tomorrow night. It's a damn good one. I know Brian Stan, who I'll be calling the fights with backstage, when this fight got announced, he was praying that he was going to get the nod and not Kenny Florian to call this one. Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, pretty interesting and important fight.
Yeah, it's a very interesting fight. I'm a big fan of Max Holloway. I think he's going to be a big name, a bigger name in this sport, and I'm excited to see how he does tomorrow night. 23
years old. Dude's won 9 UFC fights already. Pretty impressive. About a 2.5 to 1 favorite tomorrow night. How do you see it playing out?
Man, I think this fight's amazing. You know, I was sitting at home. I was on Twitter. I was like, man, should I go out to Saskatoon and watch this fight? And everybody, come on here. It's going to be an awesome fight. You know, this main event is what brought me out here. Me and my wife celebrate our 5-year anniversary tomorrow. So we came to celebrate with you guys because they put on such an amazing fight card. And this headline is a great fight, and I'm excited to watch both these guys go.
Co-main event in your division, Neil Magny is ranked right now. Eric Silva is not. You know, Silva's been a little bit up and down, but there is no denying that when he's on, I believe he can compete with the guys in that top 15.
Yeah, you know, Silva's very dangerous, you know. And when, like you said, when he's on, he's really on. And, you know, Magny is funny because I used to coach Magny in college. You know, I coached him in Southern Illinois for a while, and he's just progressing. He's just grown. He's having fun with it, and sometimes you don't see a young kid have that much fun when they're out there in the octagon. So I think these guys are both coming up at the same time, and I think it's appropriate time for those guys to meet in the octagon.
Yeah, no, I think the fight makes a lot of sense. Of course, it came together on short notice, but Neil Magny fought Damian Maia, of course, August 1st at UFC 190. This will be his 2nd fight in 23 days, and I know, Cody, you guys, you always got to stay ready, right? In this day and age, 600 fighters on the roster. You almost got to be ready like 40 or 45 weeks a year. What do you think the challenges are, though, for Neil Magny? You know, fighting 22 days ago, another weight cut, trying to get your body to peak for a 2nd time in just over 3 weeks, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, you know, do a full camp and be healthy. So maybe that he has that on the side, that he's healthy, yeah. Just coming off a camp, no pressure. He didn't have a long camp, no injuries. He jumps right back in. And maybe gets the job done tomorrow night.
Yeah, I guess, you know, you're in fight shape. Obviously, the Maia fight didn't go the way he expected it to. Getting right back in there, probably not a bad thing for Neil Magny.
Not a bad I had the same thing for myself. I fought Roy McDowell, done 2 or 3 of them. So if a fighter, Johny Hendricks might use IV every time, and he might be really needing it. So it might work to my benefit. So I'm not too worried about it, man. It's going to be the same day in the office for me, October 3rd.
Nice. Thanks for coming out.
Cool.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
All right. First of all, thank you so much for coming to Saskatoon. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Welcome, and thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
My question was already asked, so I guess the only thing I can really ask is, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think of Elias?
Cody, you got that one, bro.
I think he might have the best hair in the UFC.
Sure. Absolutely. In all seriousness, Tyron, big fan. You are an exciting fighter. After the Johny Hendricks fight, if you're successful there, where do you see yourself going in the division?
There is no after the Johny Hendricks fight.
That's what I thought you would
say. The only
say.
thing is Johny Hendricks. There's no title shot in my mind. There's no what's next. There's no where do I sit. If I don't go out here and focus on this guy, it's not going to be a great October 3rd for me. I plan on going and focusing on him, getting this fight in the bags, and then after that, any door that can open is going to be all positive in victory. So my mindset is just on beating him, and that's it.
Right on. I'm rooting for you. Good luck on the October 3rd.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
My question is for Woodley. I don't know if you're aware of that, but you have a huge following in Brazil, and we'd love to see you guys fighting down there once.
All right, there we go. I didn't even know that. I knew I had love in Canada, but now I've realized I got some love in Brazil. I'm going to have to check that out.
There you go. My question for you is, can you knock Johny the Boring Hendricks out?
I think I can knock anybody out, but, I'm definitely going to try, and I got 15 minutes to get it done. So I think if anybody in this division can knock somebody out within 15 minutes, I think I'm one of those guys, and, that's the goal.
The really fight that we want to see is you against Lawler. That's the fight.
Me against Lawler? A lot of people want to see that fight, but as I said before, Johny Hendricks, that's all I can think about at this moment. So once I win that fight, then we'll talk and see what's next after that.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Question for John. What's your favorite fight that you've ever called?
Gosh, I get that question all the time. The first one that actually comes to mind is that Matt Brown-Eric Silva main event in Cincinnati. I thought Eric Silva had Brown out of there, and obviously Matt was able to live up to his immortal moniker and somehow come back. So, I know Kenny Florian always points to that Bigfoot Mark Hunt fight, great heavyweight fight as well, but it's funny. It's almost easier, I tell people, to come up with, the worst fight I've called. Daniel Kelly, Patrick Walsh, I think it was. But, because there are so many great fights and so many fights that I think are actually, worthy of being in the Hall of Fame as a Hall of Fame type fight. So, but yeah, I have to say Matt Brown and Eric Silva is always the first one that comes to mind.
Well, you're turning into a Hall of Fame announcer, and I'm glad we get to see you call a fight tomorrow.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming. Yes, sir. You got the hand wrapped and everything, man.
Yeah, like all the kids, yeah. I was going to jokingly ask Tyron, I was going to say, after your breakout performance in Straight Outta Compton, are you considering pursuing a career as an actor? But it's already been touched on, so.
Yeah, obviously when I retire from fighting, and I've done all that I can do in this sport, and I've left my legacy behind, I would love to jump into doing some action acting, doing some more stunts and things of that nature. But I think in the past you've seen fighters that get the acting bug too soon, and it really detriments their career. So I think I've came too far. I've worked too hard. I've been in this sport too long. This is marking my 10th year doing mixed martial arts. So I need to really focus on doing those when I have the opportunity in between fights, but really focusing on being great in the sport first. After that, for sure, I would love to do it.
My real question, Tyron, just because it's important as far as your division goes, what are your thoughts on Condit versus Lawler coming up?
I don't have a ton of thought about it, to be honest. We're in the fight business, and outside of that, it's an entertainment business. Carlos Condit, performance against Thiago Alves was a great performance. Me knowing Thiago as a teammate, for anybody to have that type of performance against him like that, it was pretty remarkable. And also, Rory and Robbie set the bar. If you thought you were about something and you watched that fight, you went home and you questioned yourself. Those guys went out there and made a movie in the octagon. So when I watched that fight, it really inspired me as a fighter. It really made me want to train harder and do more and not be in that comfort zone. So with that said, I never thought I was next in line to fight for the title. I would have had to fight one more fight anyway. So if anyone's upset, it's probably Johny Hendricks. I'm getting the fight I wanted, and I'm right on the same pace that I was in anyway.
Awesome. Cody, you're an absolute killer. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you, man. No problem.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
What's up, Tyrone?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Questions for you.
Cool.
You said you're friends with Jordan Meehan. He hasn't
Yeah.
fought since January. Just wondering if he's injured or what's going on.
No, he's good, man. I just talked to him. We talked about doing some training. He's enjoying life. He's training hard. He says he's never left the gym. So I think they're just trying to find a fight that makes sense for him to fight. He's been in so many fights where he was almost beating Thiago Alves, and Thiago Alves kicked him in the body. He was, having a great fight against Matt Brown, and Matt Brown caught him with some elbows. So he's been right up there, and he can compete with anyone. So I think we just seeing the UFC trying to figure out what's the next move for him and the next opponent.
I agree. And I forgot my last question. I saw your interview with Boss Ruden a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
You said that your next fight, you're going to be more aggressive and push forward more. Does that come from Conor getting the title shot after just one victory?
No,
whereas you beat him?
Carlos getting the title shot has nothing to do with my career, That's what the UFC had for him. So him getting a title shot doesn't make me want to fight more aggressively. He fought me. We all saw that within that fight that he had not a millisecond of that fight he was winning. So it doesn't really, if anything, if he wins a fight, I'm like, damn, I already kind of, roughed him up a little bit. Now I just finish it off to quiet all the people that thought he was going to make this tremendous comeback in the third round and win the fight. So I just focus on going out there and fighting hard because I'm able to, because God gave me the gifts and the tools to do that, and that's the only reason. No other fighter is going to motivate me to fight a certain way because of them, I'm just able to fight that style, and I should fight that style for you guys because of all my coaches that put all this time, sacrificing, leaving their families. I should fight that way because I can.
Awesome. Thanks.
And don't forget about the homie Cody, too, because he ain't standing here for nothing. So I appreciate the questions, but this kid's a killer fighter. He brings a lot of emotion in the cage. He fights really hard, so make sure you guys have a couple questions for him as well.
All right, since you called me out, so Cody, since you train with Team Alpha Male, what's the best thing that you've taken from training with all those guys like Chad Mendez, TJ Dillashaw, and Uriah?
Just the mentality, they're a great group of guys, and I got out there about a year ago, and I was young in my career. I was only had one pro fight, and got out there and got around with a lot of like-minded individuals and champions, and so it was great. There's the mentality, how they enjoy life, live life, they train, they live it. It's a lifestyle out there, and couldn't be more happier than being out there.
Right on. And just a quick one for Tyron. I'm just wondering if you hold any resentment towards Johny for claiming that you bit his hand way back in the day when you guys are competing.
I got the fight.
Yeah?
I didn't necessarily hold a resentment, but, I needed something to make it interesting for you guys to want to see it. Over the years, man, when that happened, if you guys understand how big for us the Big 12 championships, the Big 12 championships is only 5 schools within this conference. And at one point, I think the year that I wrestled them, those 5 schools were the top 7 in the country. So Iowa State, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, Missouri, it was a big deal to be a Big 12 champion. So I was trying to win my second Big 12 title, break records for my school. And then that happened, man. So I wanted to punch him so bad. I was so pissed off. I was so mad. And it lingered for a couple years, but if I would have competed against Johny then, I would have been fighting him purely on emotion. I would have been trying to fight instead of compete. I probably would have lost to him. But now I'm mature. We talk. We even joked and laughed about that, me bringing that back up from like 2005. But it's what I needed to get the job done, and I got the fight. So I'll go out there and I'll compete instead of fight him. So there's no resentment. I respect him. It's not very many welterweights I don't like in the division because everybody's a martial artist, and he's one of those guys, and I just look forward to the challenge.
Perfect. Thank you. Looking forward to you guys' next fights.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming out, first of all, guys. Tyron, quick question about the tough competition. I watched it this last season. Was there any black zillion you just wanted to beat the crap out of?
Nah, man. I think that drama's with the owners, man. Those dudes just cannot.
Well, with Tyron Spong,
he was kinda... It's real, too. So if you guys are watching Tough 21, you thought it was a joke, that's real. And that's been real forever. And I even talked to Dan afterwards, and it's even more real now than it was before. So the Black Zillions and the American Top Team Fighters, they might not communicate a ton, but there's no real like, hey, I hate you, you hate me. Let's meet in the middle of the street and you know, fight to the death. But you know, some of those guys like Rashad and Anthony and Michael, I get along with very well. But I just think that it's almost like when Tupac got into it with B.I.G. You know, some of the other people, they didn't really care. You know, they didn't really care about Biggie Smalls or Tupac's. But if I was with Tupac, then I got to ride with them. And that's how we feel about, you know, that's how we feel about Dan Lambert. He's the Tupac of the team. So whatever, if he got a problem with someone, then we kind of back him up. And I think they feel the same way.
And Cody, just wondering what the state of your division is. I know you have one of your teammates at the top. I'm just wondering how you feel about it and where you think you are in it.
Yeah, I'm 2 fights in the UFC. I want to keep climbing that ladder. You know, that's why I asked for Brian Caraway. He's in the top 10, so I want to, put myself in a position where I'm fighting for a world title. You know, that's been a dream of mine since I was 13. You know, TJ's a great champion, a great friend, and at the end of the day, I'm an employee by the UFC. So whoever they want me to fight, and if it's my fight, I'll fight them.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Thank you very much, big man. What's going on? That's you, buddy. How you doing? Good.
Good.
What's your name?
Sam.
How old are you, Sam?
Good.
How old are you?
8.
Oh, there we go. So 8, that means you're in 3rd grade, right? 4th grade?
3rd grade.
That's what I said. All right, you got a question for us, Sam?
Yeah.
What's your question?
What kind of diet do you guys follow?
That's a great question. I wasn't expecting that, but when we're in training camp, we try to follow a strict diet that give us the nutrition so we can train hard. The main thing is to train hard to recover. So we might eat lean protein, some vegetables, some complex carbohydrates like oatmeal, brown rice. So we do things like that. But, to be honest, when we outside of camp, we want to try it. So we might eat pizza and things just like you guys. So during camp, we're strict, but outside of camp, we like to eat and have fun as well. What's your favorite food?
Tacos.
Tacos. Oh, that's a good favorite food to have. You got any questions for Cody?
Yeah.
What's your question, buddy?
That was the same question I asked Tyrone.
My favorite food would be a bowl of Lucky Charms.
Oh, there you go. Hey, Sam, you coming to the fights tomorrow night or what?
No.
No? How old you got to be to see MMA live in person? What do you think? 11, 12? What's the deal? What do you think?
20.
20? Yeah, Max Holloway actually was 20 years old, I believe, when he made his UFC debut. Charles Oliveira might have been 20 as well. All right, Sam, you got anything else, my man?
Nope.
Well, thank you for grabbing the mic. We appreciate it. How about a hand for Sam? Yes.
Thanks.
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing good. How you doing, brother?
Good. Tyron, I was going to ask about the Black Zillions, but seems like you answered that. Just curious, what do you think about Hader? How is he going to do? He seemed to be the workhorse for your team.
Yeah, man, he's a hardworking kid. He's always been really respectful, really patient in his career. I think he's going to do great. Obviously, in the finale, the finals, we saw that his wrestling probably needs a little work on, and I think that's probably what he's working on. If I know this kid well, he left at the tough finale, he went back the next week, and he was working his wrestling like never before. That's just the type of kid he is. I think he has a huge upside, and we'll probably see him in the UFC for really soon fighting someone.
Oh, and Cody, since you're on the Team Alpha Male, how many shirtless Instagram pics does your team take per average?
So we train about 3 to 4 times a day, so it's about 4 times, 4 shirtless pics. We call it No Shirt Nation. So
okay.
It's No Shirt Nation out there, and that's what we do.
All right.
Yeah.
Good luck against Mr. Tate.
Yeah, we're going to try to get that fight signed, by the way, before we get out of here.
Hey, shout out to the Korean Zombie, too.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hi, my question is for all 3 of you. Which fighters outside the UFC would you like to see come in or come back?
I wouldn't mind seeing Paul Daly come back. I think he bring a lot of energy. You can say what you want, but we got guys that do this. They might have to punch somebody after the bell, but they bring the same antics. They do the same thing to promote a fight and their praise. So a guy that's just really trying to back up his words with, his action with words, I think that the welterweight division is the best division in the world in any division, any organization. And I think just to add another guy with that type of color and knockout ability, he makes it more fun. So if I had to think of someone that was deserving to come over, it probably would be him.
Cody, what do you think, man?
I'm gonna have to go with my man Don Fry. I'd like to bring Don Fry back in. Yeah.
And I'd probably say Jake Shields. I still feel like his career is sort of underappreciated on the whole. So I would like to see Jake Shields back in the UFC. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. How you doing? Good?
Good.
What's going on?
I see that stripe on your belt, brother. You must be putting in some work.
Yeah.
All right. You got a question for us?
Actually, it's a question for Cody.
There we go.
What is your favorite fight you've ever had in your career?
My favorite fight would probably be my third professional fight. It was the first time Maddox, the kid that has been battling leukemia, is the first time he actually got to walk me out to the cage. So that'll always be a memorable fight. And then this last fight, the UFC let him walk me down to the cage. So my third fight, my last UFC fight, being able to experience those that time and having those memories with Maddox. So those are my best fights for sure.
Nice.
Thank you very much. That really is incredible, watching you guys make that walk. And I'm thinking, man, Cody's got to come through for Maddox. And, of course, you did once again. So.
Yeah, it was definitely emotional. I was holding back some tears, watching the kid fight for his life for the past 4.5 years. And just see him smiling back there. And, we held my hand and walked down to the cage. And something that we dreamed of doing, 4 years ago, he made a promise that he was going to beat cancer. And I promised them that I'd make it to the UFC and that he'd be there. And, my last 2 UFC fights, he was there, and we hung out. It's great, And his 1 year remission is Tuesday, August 25th. So I'm flying back to Ohio and surprising him. So yeah, he's doing great. So it's awesome, man. The guy's a true warrior, man. He's a great kid.
Awesome. Simon Rondis representing MMAshare.com, the best MMA forum on the internet.
Nice plug.
Anyways, I got a few questions for each one of you guys. Let's start with Garbrandt, man. First off, you are in my top 10 fighters in the UFC as far as like excitement goes and everything else. You're a fucking killer.
Appreciate that.
Anyways, I was going to ask about Mattis. Is he going to be accompanying you to your next fight?
Yeah, I actually have a sponsor that's been sponsoring me for a while, and he promised that every fight that I fight in the UFC, wherever it's at, he's going to make sure Max is there. So that's Martina 97, a club in my hometown. So he makes it all possible for him to come. Awesome. Good to hear, man.
And you said you were probably going to fight Caraway next?
Hey, we're pushing for it. So,
dude, you're going to kill him. You're going to work your way up to the top, and I can't see many people
that's why I got in the sport for, is to have the gold around my waist, so keep climbing every fight. Thank you.
Yeah, power on, dude. Tyrone, it's Saskatoon, by the way.
What did I say? I thought I said Saskatoon. I was back there practicing it.
Anyways, I got a question.
And it's Tyron, by the way, not Tyrone. Got him.
All right, we're even. I got a question from a member on the site. He's asking, how easy do you think it's going to be to knock out Johny Hendricks?
I don't think. When you get into the top 3, I think of our division in tiers. The top 20 are all top of the line fighters. The top 10 are the elites. The top 5, I think it's a separation there. But when you get to the top 3. It's razor thin. You can't make any mistakes in these fights. So I don't think it's easy to knock any of those top 3 guys out. And that's good, Anything that's worth having done or anything that's worth going for is not going to come easy. So I don't think that's going to be easy at all. But I'm going to try it for 15 minutes. You can bet your bottom dollar on that.
Awesome. I was also going to say, man, you're an absolute beast in the cage. I totally believe that you are going to be champion one day.
Thank you, brother.
From an outsider's perspective, though, I've seen that you sometimes have a trouble pulling the trigger sometimes. I'm just wondering what you've done to adjust that game, because when you are on the ball, you are the ball.
Well, there's something in camp that we just train, just being relaxed and just flowing. My first 5 fights was all 5 submissions within 1 minute of the fight.
Yeah.
Then I had a couple matches where it was guys that were strikers, so I utilized my wrestling. Then I knocked out guys, so I've shown that I can do everything. And the goal is always to put everything together in that one night in the octagon. So when I do that, I do think I'm the best welterweight in the world. I think I can punch hard. I think I have the best boxing. I think I have great grappling. I'm approaching getting a black belt fairly soon in jiu-jitsu. So a lot of people don't understand what type of ground game I have as well. So I agree with you, and it's nothing that's identified, but obviously when you go out there and you run through somebody, it's something that you do great in that camp, and I'm planning on doing those things.
I compare you to Rashad Evans quite a bit. You're a strong wrestler with extremely good striking. It's like Rashad, when he's not on the ball, he kind of chokes up a bit, but when he's in the game, there's nobody stopping him at all. And I see this exact same as you.
I think that's every athlete's goal, to be on the ball as much as they can and to go out there and, react and not think. So that's just with repetition, with drilling, and with, constant high-level guys pushing you to your limits. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming. I can't wait to your next fight. Anik, thanks for the tickets. I love your shoes.
Thank you, buddy.
Those are fresh. FYI.
Got to do the Reebok pumps, right?
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for coming to Saskatoon. I hope you guys come back.
Come on down at the end of the Q&A. I'll get you those tickets. All right, we got about 3 more minutes with these guys, so we'll get to these final few questions. Yes, sir.
This is a question pretty much for all 3 of you. There's been recent talks about Fedor Emelianenko making his MMA return to UFC. What do you guys think about that? Do you think he can hang with the top guys?
It's tough to say. He's been out for a while, but I would like to see him try if he's given an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, that heavyweight division is probably, the best division in which to try to make a run. I think there's only 30 or 40 guys on the roster. I'm not sure I'd love him against anybody in that top 5, but, man, I think we'd all like to see, him enter that octagon at least once,
Right on. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Yes, sir. What do you got?
I was just wondering if, Cody, if Dwayne Ludwig ever resolved that issue you guys had there.
Yeah, about the Dwayne Ludwig.
If he ever reached
issue,
out to you to resolve that.
Yeah, kind of fired back. We weren't too happy about it in the media, how he said that, TJ is the only one that wants to be a champion. We have a lot of hardworking guys that, some of the most hardworking guys I've ever met. So for him to say that was kind of, it wasn't right to say that. But, he tried to renege on it and then try to apologize to us through texts and calls. But, hey, that's him. He believes in TJ, and TJ's a great champion. But yeah, Dwayne's past us. We're moving on. We're finding a new coach, and we're going to keep being successful in 2016.
Hell yeah, man. Keep at it.
Thanks, man. How you doing?
Good.
What's going on?
I think I'm good, at least.
You have a question for these guys or what?
Yep. So Tyron's been going on about Cody's a killer fighter. But Cody, what's the fastest you've ever knocked someone out?
The fastest I've knocked someone out was actually my first boxing match when I was 14. It was I knocked him out in 36 seconds. So 36 seconds was my fastest knockout.
That's fast.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about Cody Garbrandt. Very, as the voice cracks there, very accomplished amateur boxer. I believe you also won a state title high school wrestler as a freshman. Is that right? Not bad. All right, you got anything else for Tyron or Cody?
No.
All right, well, thanks for coming out, man. You coming to the fights tomorrow or what?
No, but you can talk to my dad about that.
Oh, I will take that up with your dad. I kind of agree with your dad. I have 2 little girls, and they haven't been able to see the UFC live yet. But, yeah, at least we'll open up a conversation with him for sure. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
All right, final question. What do you have, sir? Thank you.
It's going to be an easy one. I'm just wondering what all your guys' walking around weight is.
I'm probably like 195 right now. I usually don't get more than 200. I fight at 170, so I'm a pretty big 70-pounder. I have been 205 one time. Then I had to get my life right because I was eating too handsomely, and on the cheese pizza and things like that. So I usually don't get above 200. But fight camp, I'll probably be like 187 within the next couple of weeks. That's when I'm the strongest and I'm the fastest and I'm the most durable for all the cross training. So right around there is where I like to train at.
Yeah, the heaviest I ever walked around at was before I came out to Alpha. I was 175, but with training all the time and good diet, nutrition, I don't get above 150, so I stay right around there, 150.
John?
I walk about 160, and in order to fit into that tiny little suit tomorrow night, I'll have to be 154. So I'm probably like 58 right now, and no, I'm serious. I actually do cut weight to get into that little suit. So I'll be 54 tomorrow night.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for coming out. We will have the fighters on the scales here at 4 o'clock. Hopefully you guys aren't ditching us and going to the Rough Riders game at 5 o'clock. You'll be here for the weigh-in. And, of course, the fights tomorrow night. One last time, ladies and gentlemen, Tyron Woodley and Cody Garbrandt. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
And whoever won the tickets, come meet me over here. Fighters will be up here shortly, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Canada.